accumulating totals in a loop. And essentially, we're just keeping track of how many times something has happened. So we need accumulators. We've had a counter, and we've dealt with accumulators in some previous examples. So we're going to deal with a while loop, and we're going to keep track of how many times people enter right or left. Okay, so they provide us with this right total and left total. And then here is the input that somebody puts into the system. Okay, now I want to start out with, they want me to put my loop down here. Yeah, I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my loop up above when the person enters left or right. I want to start the loop up here. And I want to say while, and my condition will be left or right is not equivalent to X. So I haven't defined left or right. Come up here. I'll put nothing in left or right, so it's empty. And so as long as left or right is not X, we're going to go through this loop. So we'll go ahead and end the condition. And I'll indent that line appropriately. And this will capture that data for me. And now I need to test to see if it's left or right. And depending on if it's left or right, increase whatever accumulator is appropriate. So if left or right is equivalent to L, what do we want to have happen? Left total equals left total plus 1. Okay, let's take that line of code, copy it, come down here, and we'll change that from an L to an R, and I'll change that from an if to an elif, and I'll make sure that it's right total that's being accumulated for the R. If it's L, we increase L. If it's R, we increase R. If it's not L, and it's not R, I want a break. So it's L or R. As long as it's L or R, we're going to go. Okay. So I could have done my same little true thing here, and we'll go back and look and see what would have happened if we did this. So we'll start it. Enter an L if you're left-handed, R if you're right, and an X to quit. R, 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 P. I don't have to have an X. Anything other than an R will get me out of there. So it kept track of each one of my right-handed ones. Now, what happens if here I say, rather than this conditional that we put in, I say, while true, We'll go ahead and run it and see what happens. R, R, L, 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 X. So I entered in 1, 2, 3 L's. There we go. And it's keeping track of it. And it did do what I thought it was going to do there. I said, you have no problem. You went through that the number of times you wanted to go through it. And if at any point you enter something other than L or R, we get out. Let's test it to see if that's the case. Is it happy with it? And it let us go through. Because it's not checking to see if it was actually X that was being evaluated that got us out. It entered X, and the system popped us out. It could have, and the system didn't test it the correct way, but it could have said, well, what if somebody enters a P? Well, that's something we're going to deal with in the future where we validate user input. So it could be while left or right is equivalent to L or R. We're going to keep doing this. And I initialized it potentially to R, and that could go through. That we'd be in good shape. So what if we did that? What if I initialized it to R and saying rather than while true, while left or right is equivalent to I'll put that condition in there. Or then I won't need this break. Let's go ahead and see what happens now. Oh, make sure my insertion point's over here on the right. L, R, R, L, P. So I entered L twice, R twice. Anything other than L or R gets me out. So the logic that we're looking for here, there's more than just one way to do this. And if I test this now, it says, yeah, you're good, because I'm still reaching my ultimate goal of testing to see, did they enter LR or something else to get out? And did we keep track of how many L's and how many R's? And it did do that. This way, we know we're validating user input to go through it. There's more than one way we could have broken out with an else. So as long as you test fine and you grade fine, you're good. Just know there's more than one way to go through and write this code to meet these demands. And at the same time, test at 100%. Because if I go through and test this now, that's 100%. Okay?